Hey everyone. Welcome to the Spark Faith podcast. I am Dr. Chris Sargent, and we are diving into thoughts, create emotions, emotions in motion, create behavior, behavior creates results. And I missed the results piece yesterday, and I also missed, where do those thoughts come from? So we need to talk a little bit about where those thoughts come from. And most of the thoughts that we think, like 60,000 thoughts a day, over 2/3 of them are negative. And so, where does all that negativity come from? So we're going to dive into that a little bit today. And we're also going to dive into what do your results look like and where does that come from too. So thoughts come from our value system. Okay, cool, Chris, awesome. And where does our value system come from? Most of our value system is created, 95% is created before we are 18 years old, and it comes from significant people and events in our lives. So I had a coach who used to say mother, father, teacher, preacher, right? Anyone who was in any of those roles in your life, a mother, a father, a teacher, or a preacher, it could be anybody in that role, spoke into you, and as they did, depending on the circumstances, that helps shape your thoughts and thought processes now. That creates neural pathways and neural programming that started way before you were even aware of that happening. So from 0 to 4 years old, you suck in like a little sponge about 50% of your values and programs. 50% before you are 4. And then between 5 and 8, you get another 30%. And then from 9 to 18, about another 15%. So like I said, before you're 18, you have already sucked in like a sponge 95%, up to 95% of your value system and those neural programs that are now running you. And so running your thoughts. And so if you really think about it, we learned most of our stuff before we're 8. It's like 80% before we're 8. So a lot of us really walk around like 8-year-olds and talk and respond out of these 8-year-old value systems that may or may not actually serve us anymore. So just so you understand where that came from, now you have a choice. You can continue to work out of that 8-year-old, and that's totally fine. Or you can choose to shift and make some shifts in your world, which does take time and will take some work. I'm not going to say that that's easy. And start to shift what those thoughts are and what that pattern can look like. You don't have to stay stuck in what you think you may have to stay stuck in, right? And that's not to negate anything that ever happened to you, because there's a lot of horrific things that happen to people before they're 18, right? And after. During the shaping of your thoughts and your values, there's a lot of really cool things that can happen and a lot of horrific things that can happen. And just want you to understand that a lot of our thoughts come out of that. Now, for me, I was raised in a home where we went to a lot of positive mental attitude type seminars. Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. I mean, these are the guys that were forerunners to the Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and all of these great motivational speakers that we have now, the Ed Miletts and just, all the people now. And so just understand that a lot of my energy and positivity, like that comes out of my value system. I also went to church from very, 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 very young age. Now, I walked away from the church for a long time and now I'm back. However, that also shaped my value system and how I process my thoughts. And so as Christians, I want to dive just for a minute. There are 40 references or so in the Bible. And we know that as Christians, that this negative side of our thought life started way back in with Adam and Eve, right? That was the beginning, right? Was the lies that were told then. And so, in David, in the Psalms, David was lamenting, like, how long must I wrestle with my thoughts, day after day have sorrow in my heart, and how long will my enemy triumph over me? And this is Psalm 13:2. And I'm here to tell you that Psalm 139, not much further down the road in the book, right, is Psalm 139, and Psalm 139:23 says, God knows all our thoughts. Search me, O God, know my heart. Test me, know my anxious thoughts. And so, because he knows all of our thoughts, he can also take them and help shape them. And we can allow that to happen in our life and really we can come out of some very discouraging upbringing times, and we can come out of some very negative value systems, and we can start to shift and mold and allow God to really change how we think. And then as we change how we think, well, our emotions start to change. And when our emotions start to change, our behavior starts to change. And as our behavior starts to change, our results start to change. Sometimes, I'm going to dive into results right now. Sometimes all we can see is the results. And that can be really, really discouraging when you don't really have a framework for how does this happen? How did I get here? What created this? Those are some really big questions to wrestle with. And I've certainly wrestled with a lot of them over the last 4 years in my life. Intentionally, right? Like, I went after it to figure out the sad and disappointed question, to figure out how to relate better, to figure out how to create better relationships, to figure out why there were certain patterns that were happening in my life and where did those come from, and how, since I'm the only one that can really make a difference in my own life, how can I change that? And so I'm going to leave you with Philippians 4:6, which says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, right, with thanksgiving, I know we're to be grateful, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And we're going to leave it there. But here's what I want to tell you is my next episode is all about skills. I'm going to give you some skills to work through this whole figure out your thoughts, figure out your values, figure out where this stuff came from, and then how to slowly and surely start changing emotional awareness and behavior and results so that your life can look completely different, right? In such an amazing way. I've had some huge changes over the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm here and I'm going to take you on this little journey, this giant journey actually, and we're going to have some serious fun together. So there's where your thoughts came from and how you got to where you are. We're going to keep moving forward. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.